Hello, welcome to lesson 12 in this series. Well done for making it this far. I hope you're practicing well and I hope you're doing well. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to do hammer-ons, pull-ups and slides so you can start your own guitar solos and improvisation and just enjoy the instrument with a bit more freedom. So yeah, you know I don't like to waste time, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so last lesson we learned the G major scale that started on the 3rd fret of the low E string. It sounds like this. Earlier in the lesson, I mentioned that the major scale is going to be one of the most important scales you learn. This is because the major scale makes mostly every other scale that you're going to learn on guitar, and every other scale has its own formula. So the scale we're going to learn today is called the major pentatonic, and it's used a lot during soloing because it's kind of hard to sound bad when you're using it. And all you're going to do is take your major scale, numbers 1 to 8, and remove numbers 4 and 7. So now you've just got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. This is called the major pentatonic because it's only got 5 notes in this scale. Penta, pentagon, 5 sides, 5 notes. And yeah, that's how you play a major pentatonic. Alright, lesson's over, goodbye. Just like sentences can use different punctuation to make a phrase sound a bit more sophisticated, music has the same thing where you can use different techniques to make your phrases sound a bit more sophisticated. Now, the first technique we're going to learn is called a hammer-on. So just imagine a hammer in your hand and you're hammering onto something. It can't be no tiny. It has to be boom for you to get a sound out of this. So, on the tab that's here, you've got your first finger that will play the 3rd fret of the low E string. Now this finger has to hold tension on the string. You can't let go and release pressure. Hold it down. Now, with this, you're going to get your 3rd finger, and after you play the first note, I just want you to get your 3rd finger and hammer it on to the 5th fret. It's going to be a bit awkward at first to get the accuracy and precision, but just keep practicing it and you'll get it. So you can do it in slow motion at first. If you look at my fingers carefully, I play the 3rd fret and I hold it down. And then with my 3rd finger, I put it on the 5th fret. I don't pick twice, I just get my 3rd finger and I slam it into the 5th fret of the low E string. It has to be a slam. If you do it too slowly, you're not going to get a sound and you're going to kill the string. Like that. Don't want that. You want a slam. And I'll show it from another angle. Right, so this is what your hand should look like. Your first finger's here, and then when you're hammering on, it's not some slow thing like that, but you're slamming into that fret. You might hit this string or that string and that string a few times. Don't worry about that. Just make sure that you're aiming for the 5th fret of the low E string. The next technique is called a slide, and what it is in the name. You're gonna slide across the strings. So on the top here, yeah, it says 5 and then a slash symbol going up to 7. That little slash means slide, and yeah, put your 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the low E string, and then all I want you to do is slide it to 7. So you get this sound. You don't want to let go while you're sliding. You still want to keep pressure pushing downwards on the fret as you're going along. And that's all a slide is. you put your finger on a fret, slide to another fret, but make sure that you're keeping pressure down on the strings. If you let go during the slide, you're just gonna kill the sound and not get anything. So make sure that as you do it, you're holding down. Not too hard that you hurt your finger, but just enough to keep the sound going. So just practice that. Practice hammer on 3 to 5, and then 5 slide to 7. See this as a combo. Jab, jab, hook. The last technique is called a pull-off, and again, it's in the name. You're going to be pulling off the string. Now, hammer-ons are usually used when the frets are ascending, so 3 to 5, 5 to 7. Anything that's going upwards, you'd typically use a hammer-on or a slide, and when it's going downwards, descending, you'd use a pull-off. So in this case, 7 to 5, we'd have to use a pull-off. So how to play this? Put your third finger on the 7th fret of the A string, and don't play anything. Put your first finger on the 5th fret of the A string. Now, with your first finger, make sure that you're pushing down on the string and there's some tension there. So if you were to play just the 5th fret, you'll get a sound. Now put your third finger back on 7, and all I want you to do is play the 7th fret with your third finger, and then pull your third finger towards the floor and let it come off the string. Right? Don't flick your third finger off like this. So my finger's coming out towards you. I need you to pull it towards the floor. And make sure you get that sound. If you flick it off like that, you won't get a strong sound. Now, if your first finger isn't pressing down, then essentially you're pulling off to nothing. You'll probably pull off to the open string instead. So I need you to keep your first finger on the 5th fret of the A string and press down on that. So when you take your third finger off, the sound of the 5th fret is gonna ring out. Just like that. This is quite a hard one, so don't get mad if you don't get it the first time. Just keep practicing in it. Here's another angle of a pull-off. So my third finger's here. I'm pressing down with my first finger on the 5th fret, and I'm not flicking it off like that, right? Do not do that. You're pulling it towards the floor, like that. You flick it off, you won't get a sound. You pull it off, it's like you're plucking the string, basically. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Let's put it all together now. We know how to do a hammer on. We did it from the 3rd fret of the low E string to 5. Then we did a slide from the 5th fret to the 7th fret of the low E string. And then we did a pull off from the 7th fret of the A string to the 5th fret of the A string. All together, it sounds like this. Da 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 da. Now, I'll put the tab here, but I want you to link this in with our major pentatonic scale. Rather than thinking of our 3rd fret, hammer on to 5th fret, 5 slide to 7 and so on, we've just got 5 notes in the scale. We've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So see it as this. You're doing 1, hammer on to 2, then you're doing 2, slide to 3, and then you've got 6, pull off to 5. Right? I'll do that again. 1, hammer on to 2, 2, slide to 3, 6, pull off to 5. Link this scale with the techniques we're doing. Try and see what you're playing with the scale that we've learned, major pentatonic. Yeah? So just practice that. It should sound like this. Hammer on, slide, pull off. And And if you want to challenge yourself, then you're only allowed to pick once per string. So hammer on, slide, pull off. So now your right hand is doing less work. Oops. And I'll do it one more time super slowly. And yeah, just practice this tab, pause the video and try and get that down. 1, hammer on to 2, slide to 3, 6, pull off to 5. And yeah, that's your first phrase. The next phrase goes like this. And I'll put the tab here. Now at the start you can see there's a slide, but there's no number that you're sliding from. This means that you're sliding from anywhere really. You could slide from the first fret to 7, but usually you'll just slide like from 6th fret to 7, or maybe 5th fret to 7 on the low E string. So somewhere close to 7. So you slide up to 7. I'll do it with my 3rd finger. Then the next part is 5th fret of the A string, hammer onto the 7th fret. And then once you've done that, you've got 5, hammer onto 7, pull off to 5. So now you're putting 2 techniques together. And all together it sounds like this. Oh my gosh, bro. I'm not used to playing things so slowly. Alright, so slowly it would sound like this. Yeah, I'm gonna put this tab on a white screen. Try and play it by yourself. Just remember, slide to the first 7 with your 3rd finger, because that will set your 1st finger up to play the 5 on the A string straight afterwards. If you did it with your 1st finger, it'll be a bit awkward where you have to jump from the 7th fret of the E string straight to the 5th fret of the A string. But your 3rd finger sets up your 1st finger perfectly for that. Have a go at that. Alright, so in the first example, we did 1, hammer onto 2, slide to 3, then 6, pull off to 5. If we know the octave is the same as 1, then we can do the same thing from there. 1, hammer onto 2, slide to 3, and then 6, pull off to 5. The octave is on the 5th fret of the D string. So you can see this major pentatonic pattern repeat from there, and it should look something like this, where you've got 2 major pentatonic scales stacked on top of each other. And it's not 2 scales, it's just 1 scale, but we've just repeated it at the octave. Now, what I want you to do is take these examples and play around with all of these notes. See what you can come up with using slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs. And tonight I'm going to post a video where I'm just strumming chords. And you have to play along, make your own little solo up, using the major pentatonic scale. Now you're only going to be limited by your own creativity, so yeah, just practice those examples, get used to slides, hammer-ons and pull-offs, and we'll put it all together. I'll post this video tonight. I've got to shoot off to work right now. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Have fun.